Hello, busy bet. Please, could you confirm if you can hear me? Please, if you can hear me loud and clear, please confirm. I'm testing the mic. Busy bet. Please, could you confirm if you can hear me? If you can hear me loud and clear, please say something. I'm taking the mic off. If you can hear me loud and clear, please confirm. I'm testing the mic. Mic on. Mic off. Mic on. Saying something without the mic. Please confirm if you can hear me. Saying something without the mic. Please confirm. If you're just Day 30, Master with Reginald Smith Jr., Grammy Award-winning baritone. While we wait for him, please gear up. It's going to be an interesting and an amazing session by the grace of God. Remember, try to keep your questions very straight to the point. If you ask something someone has already asked before, please let's try as much as we can to don't re-ask the questions so that we can carry everyone's questions for 30 minutes. Please confirm if you can hear me. Thank you, BusyBet, for joining. BusyBet TV. Oh, and thank you for joining. Please, I think I just have you and one other person for now. Let me know if you can hear me from your own end. BusyBet. I need to see how to connect this mic somewhere so I don't hold it. Yes, I can hear you. Stanley Okonko, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Stanley. So while we wait for others to join and our host, feel free to minimize. But in the meantime, you're welcome. This is day 30 masterclass with Reginald Smith Jr. Please keep the questions straight to the point. Do not repeat a question someone has already asked so we can accommodate everybody's questions. Appreciate it. So I'm gonna thank you, thank you, thank you. see you, Abeto Apata. I can see you. Thank you. And also, if anyone is very sure, if anyone is sure of his or her network and environment to be not noisy, and you want the maestro to demonstrate something for you, send me a request through DM on WhatsApp. I would now share you the host link to bring you on board as a speaker. All right. If you're joining the live, you're welcome. If you know your environment is clear and stable, you can um, you can share me a request, indicate on my DM, and I can bring you on board. Yeah, I can bring you on board as through the guest link to ask the speaker a one-to-one question. But I need someone who has a stable network and also someone who has a very free of noise environment. Very important. Yeah. All right, people. It's about time. Stay tuned. What? Ah, I think our speaker is having a bit of connection ish. Hello, hello, everybody. You're welcome to day 30 of our masterclass with Reginald Smith Jr., Grammy Award-winning baritone. If you're just you're welcome. As discussed on the page, let's endeavor to keep the questions straight to the point, and also watch out through the questions I would bring to show on the studio. It what I mean is on the timeline to see that you don't get to repeat the same question, so we could use 30 minutes to cover every other person's um, beat. I'm going to bring our speaker now on stage. And if you have, if you really want to demonstrate something you know you cannot explain writing, send me a DM on WhatsApp through the page or call my attention, send it to me directly through my line. I'm going to bring you up to the timeline to ask the question one on one with the speaker. Please, if you understand this, to make me know that you're following, just indicate on the comment section that you understand, and I can bring the speaker up on stage. Please let me know if you understand what I've said. It's very important if I see your reaction on the comment section so I can bring the speaker on board. All right, without any further ado, I'm going to. Good. Thank you, Jennifer Ray. I'm going to bring up our speaker, Reginald Smith Jr., Grammy Award Baritone, to have his session. Enjoy. Hi, Reggie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Great,
I,
great. Please, you feel free to communicate. We have 14 subscribers, 14 viewers now listening
great.
live to you.
Good.
So please confirm if you can hear him on the comment section. Please just say yes if you can hear him. So I'm going to leave you to talk and let them confirm to
Yeah,
hear
and
you.
if they can't hear me, just stop me. It's fine. Um, I'll talk a little bit about my background first, and then we'll go into some technical things, if that's okay.
Great, that's okay. I could see reactions. Yes, that's
Okay.
okay.
Good, good, good. So, as you said, my name is Reginald Smith Jr. or Reggie. It's very simple. Just call me Reggie. It's totally fine. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, here in the United States. Atlanta, if you don't know, is in the South, and we have lots of good Southern singing and cooking and all sorts of things down south. And so I fortunately grew up with music, a lot of gospel music, jazz, blues, is sort of rooted in the American South. And I grew up in the church, but I also was in school choir, and I always wanted to be a good choir student. So I was in school choir from a young boy all the way through high school and then into college. I wanted to be a high school choir teacher. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to conduct choirs and work with choirs. Was my original sort of musical background. I always loved doing solo repertoire. I always loved singing. Um, and I just thought if I were a better singer, if I knew more about singing, I would be a better teacher. It'll help me teach. Um, it didn't dawn on me that I could have a career, a professional career, singing. So it's very cool. I'm blessed and fortunate, blessed beyond measure to do what I do. Um, I started taking voice lessons when I was in high school, when I was about 15. And it was the first time, I'd been singing my whole life. So singing was very natural, but the understanding the mechanics and the background of singing and different ways to help take care of your voice and different things to do, which we'll talk about later, are some of the things I began to learn around the age of 15 or so. From there, I went on to study voice and music education, kindergarten through 12th grade. So all the kids, from the little ones to the grown ones. I studied at the University of Kentucky, and there I did my first like staged operas. I started singing big things with symphonies, and I was in all the choirs. Um, from the University of Kentucky, I then applied to different young artist programs, sort of like paid internships, apprenticeships with different companies. And I applied and was accepted into the program at Houston Grand Opera. And that was a big turning point for me as well because I'd had the vocal training. I had been on stage. Worked with a great number of people, but now I'm in one of the big opera houses in America doing the big shows in a theater that's over 2,600 seats. And of course, we don't use microphones, so you have to learn how to project into these big halls. And this is the place where I'm working now. We're doing an Italian show. We're coaching it with an Italian singer and, an Italian conductor. If it's a German show, it's a German coach. And so it was a big curve for me. But that's why I did a lot of my extra training at the Houston Grand Opera Studio. And then after my time in the Houston Grand Opera Studio, I say they kicked me out of the nest and I was already singing professionally, but that's when I really started a professional career. Since then, I've been blessed and fortunate to sing in many places around the United States and many other countries, including in, the Bahamas. That was a very cool trip. In Mexico and Canada, in Australia, New Zealand, England, France, Ireland, Austria, uh, Lithuania, Latvia, Hong Kong, Russia. Um, so yeah, it's really cool. I've yet to come to Nigeria. Just throwing that out there. Uh,
That's great.
but can you hear me? Am I good?
Yeah, of
Oh,
course, we
good,
can hear you loud and clear.
good. I hope you heard my quip. Um, but yeah, so that's a bit about my background. The career is exciting. It's exhausting. It's thrilling. It can be lonely. It can be all encompassing, and you find your own network of beautiful family from all over the world. Um, One of the things that I tell people often about this career is that while it's really thrilling and really great, you have to learn to be alone. And it's one of those hard things because you have to spend a lot of alone time. One, you have to spend a lot of alone time practicing. It takes a lot of work to be able to do what we do. Not only does it take the work to understand the vocalism, but then learning the music. Okay, now that you've learned the notes and the rhythms properly, learning the language, learning the style, learning the different nuances, singing with the different colors and inflections takes a lot of practice. So it's a lot of time sitting in a space by yourself. And then, as much as I love my family and friends, a lot of times if I'm singing or traveling, I will go somewhere, I'll sing with friends, and then I go back to my hotel room by myself. You go to dinner by yourself a lot of times. And so you have to be comfortable with being alone. And then another thing about this career is you have to be very aware of how to keep the voice intact, which leads us into a bit of the beginning of our technical talk. So there are certain things that you can do in general to just help the voice. So your vocal folds are two very small pieces of flesh, like that, if we will. All right, they come together, they separate. When they come together, they make sound. And when they separate, you breathe in. Simple as that. And they sit right in here, right in the throat. Because they are very fragile pieces, it's not like bone, it's not a gristle, it's flesh, and it's very light flesh. You have to be very aware of what you're doing to make sure that you really take care of that mechanism. So, one of the things that I personally don't like to do, like, I love spicy foods. I love things that are rich in tomatoes and all of that. Foods that are very acidic, they have a lot of acid in them. Spicy food, peppers, tomatoes can cause you to have acid reflux. And this is not a singer thing, it's just sort of your body, you put too much spice down there, it's going to come back up. Well, when it comes back up, that acid can burn your vocal folds, causing them to have, it's like if you hurt your finger, you'll get a little bruise and you go, ow, that hurts, after a while. And that's what happens to your voice. And so you'll find yourself being like, ow, this really hurts. Why can't I sing my high notes the way I want to? Why doesn't it sound easy or feel easy? Sometimes it's acid reflux. So I know that before I have to sing, as much as I love my spicy foods, a day or two before, I won't have anything spicy. I won't have anything too acidic without, lemons, lots of acid. I just won't have it. So my voice is in really good shape. Another thing that helps the voice is hydration. You know, people that drink a lot of coffee, coffee is a dehydrating drink versus like Gatorade, electrolytes, sea salt in your water if you decide to do that. But just water itself just helps to replenish, keep everything nice and moist and not brittle. Think about like if you take a piece of paper and you put some water on it and then you leave it in the sun, what happens? It dries up and it starts to get shriveled. It's kind of what happens with your voice. You lubricate it, you put water, and then you don't drink water for a while. It starts to get stiff. So it helps to have lots of water to keep everything loose and easy. On top of that, I do a lot of steaming, just a facial mask where I have warm water that I can just breathe in. And if I don't have my facial mask with me, a very simple solution, I take a washcloth, put some warm water on it, simple enough, and put it over my face and just breathe in and out. So it keeps all of my nasal passage all in here, all the throat very moist so that everything moves around easily as opposed to if it's all crunchy and brittle and hard. Um, so those are just a few basic things that you can do on an everyday basis that can help improve your voice and your vocalism. Another thing, like for instance, I fly a lot on airplanes. So I have to be very aware if I'm taking a 6 hour flight with air that's being recycled, which is going to be very drying. And then I have to get off a plane and go and sing. So I'm very aware of, either having some sort of facial mask while flying or some sort of steaming thing. Now, the other thing that can really affect your vocal folds, I've mentioned that they're two little pieces of meat. They're very tiny. They go bloop, bloop, bloop. When you do a lot of yelling and screaming, that type of thing, right? It's as if you're taking your vocal folds and going pop, pop, pop. And again, if you were to hit yourself on the hand, okay, it probably doesn't hurt the first time. But if you do it 100 times in a row, after a while, it's going to get tired. It's going to start to get painful. It's going to get inflamed. And that's what happens to our voice. The more that we start yelling and screaming, we're just straining the vocal folds to the point to where they eventually get tired of slapping together. And you start getting inflammation. And what can happen is you start developing what they call nodules and nodes. So you can develop basically a callus, like a little bump that develops on your vocal folds, and then it prevents them from coming together easily. So you start getting things like this, if you can see. And what you want is them to come together. So if your voice is doing that, you'll notice certain signs the voice will start to sound very airy, very rest. And if it starts sounding like this, uh, there might be something in there that's preventing the vocal folds from coming together. At which point it'd be good to go to a doctor, an ear, nose, and throat doctor, ENT, just to kind of see what's going on in there. So, staying hydrated, right? Making sure that you're staying away from lots of acid-based foods. Making sure that you're not yelling and screaming, so you're just slapping your vocal folds together, right? And then another thing that we can help ourselves with every day is regulating our speaking voice. So what we call vocal fry, ah, that sound, some people speak with that sound. Yeah, I call it the like Britney Spears Kardashian voice, you know. They're like, yeah, I mean that's guy. And the problem is what you're doing is you're just grinding down on the vocal folds. And after a while, they get tired of you pressing down on them. So, making sure that you have an open, fully supported speaking voice helps you stay in good vocal health. So, again, we have staying hydrated, making sure that you're, especially if you have to sing, staying away from acidic foods that can cause acid reflux, making sure that you're not yelling and slapping the vocal folds together, making sure that you're not pushing down, grinding on the vocal folds in your regular speaking voice. And lastly, for now, a thing that can help with your vocal health: sleep, rest. It sounds silly enough, but sometimes if I'm having vocal issues and I realize I've been running from here, there, and everywhere, sometimes I say, you know what, I just need to drink some water and go to sleep. And after a good night's rest, I wake up and I'm like, wow, my voice feels better. Well, because my body is my instrument. And if your body is unaligned, if your body is not at rest, the voice is not going to be rested. Clear as mud so far?
That's true.
Great. So now, when we talk about singing, right, one of the first things we have to think about is our posture. So, why is this important? Think of it like any instrument. If you look at a clarinet is a long tubular instrument like a flute. If you take that instrument and you bend it, it's going to create a different sound. You change the position
That's right.
of the instrument, you're going to get an affected sound. This is why if you see people play the trumpet, sometimes they'll have a mute to change the sound, right? What we want is to take the
Right.
mute off the voice, and we want to keep proper alignment so we can get a full, open, beautiful sound. So, how do we get there? Good question, Reggie. First things we can do, if we're thinking of our
Yeah.
standing posture, I like to think my feet are apart, sort of shoulder width apart, nice underneath my hips. And then I have one foot slightly in front of the other, just to make sure you have a little extra balance. And you can do this while sitting on the sofa. You know, you can sort of adjust your feet and be like, okay, I see which, it doesn't matter if it's right, left, but just whichever's most comfortable for you. Then you want to make sure you have nice, bouncy knees. Supple is the word, but you don't want to be stiff. I'm sure we've all seen those videos of people singing and they lock their legs and they go boom and they just fall over. Don't become a YouTube sensation for the bad way by falling over during a choir concert or doing a concert, because I will personally find it and laugh at you. Not to your face, but definitely to my computer screen. So to prevent yourself from becoming one of those YouTube sensations in a bad way, make sure your feet are slightly apart, about hip shoulder width apart, and that you have nice bouncy knees so you feel like you can be a springboard and you can move around at any point. Your hips should be properly aligned to where you kind of roll your butt under, which I know sounds crazy, but some of us are more well endowed than others. And if you have it where your back is bumped up, what you're doing is you're cutting off the space for the back of your ribs to expand. So you just want to make sure that you're keeping proper alignment so the body can fully expand. That's your waist down. That's sort of the easy part to explain. Now, we ready for the more complicated parts?
Let's
I hope
go.
so.
That's
so
right.
what? So that's posture, right? At least
Yeah.
that much. Now we need to stand all the way straight and tall. What do I mean by that? Think about your spine, which has a natural curvature like this. Feel like it's gonna stand up. So sometimes, because I have a wall behind me, sometimes I'll kind of lean against the wall just to feel, to make sure I'm not like tilting one way or the other. Where's my proper alignment? So I'm not singing like this or singing like this where I'm hunched over. Then when I find, okay, my shoulders are squared off, then I can push myself back and I think there's a string from the top of my head going straight up, like someone was pulling me like a puppet. So what am I doing? I'm lowering my shoulders. I have nice space between my neck. You can kind of see there's my neck. My head is just sort of floating on like a bobblehead. Bugger, 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 bugger. And if I turn sideways, you see my ears? My ears are aligned over my shoulder like this. One of the habits that we get in as singers is we tend to do this.
Right.
You see?
Right.
And again, if we think
Yeah.
about like a clarinet, a flute, here it is, over the shoulders, ears over the shoulders. Boom, straight up and down, string pulling from the top of the head. The moment I do this, I change the position of the instrument. Therefore, I'm changing the sound. Case in point, just ah. I didn't turn the volume down on my
Wow.
speaker. All I
Wow.
did was change the position and it affected the sound in a different way. Likewise, if you do this, you start reaching, it also changes the sound. You see? So, what we want to strive for is that our ears boop, stay over our shoulders. The head sort of swivels like a bobblehead, and there's like a string pulling from the top. Hey, hi, hello. Ah, that sensation. Just like that. So, feet, one foot in front of the other, slightly apart, about hip width, shoulder width. Knees, bouncy and relaxed. Hips, nice and relaxed so you don't feel like your butt is popping back. You know, we ain't twerking, we're singing. It's two different things. Your spine is nice and tall. Your shoulders are relaxed. You have this nice bobblehead sensation, string pulling from the top, and ears relaxed over your shoulders. That's our basis for our standing posture. Even if
Mm.
I'm seated, I still have from the hips up, that's tall alignment where everything is going up and down. So that's the first step, is posture. Making sure our
Posture.
skeleton is dangling in the proper position. Got it?
Got it.
Great. Then the next step that we have is respiration, breathing. So, how do we breathe? What do we do to breathe, right? So, when we speak, when we walk around every day, the good Lord has blessed us to where we don't have to think about breathing in and out. That's what we call a passive breath. It just happens. It's just, right? What we do for singing is called an active breath. It's like if you're about to go swimming, right? You don't go swimming and just passive breathing. You could, you might drown. So you have to think about, okay, my body is going to be engaged in a different way to where I take a real, full, active breath. Now, our skeleton, our bones are connected. Oh, where did I go? Oh, I see a nice picture of myself. I look handsome in that picture. I digress. Uh, here is your breastbone, right?
Yeah.
It is connected to all of these ribs that go all the way. I can see I moved this down a little bit. It goes all the way down. You'll find right under here where your ribs start to connect, and then it goes all the way to your back, actually. Your rib cage protects your lungs. Your lungs have to open when air comes in, and they close back up when air goes out. It happens naturally without us thinking about it. However, if you want more power while you're singing, if you want to sing notes for a longer time, you need to take more air into your lungs. Now, we can't just reach into our body and punch our lungs, but what we can do is we can feel our rib cage that is protecting our lungs. So if our rib cage is expanding, we know that our lungs are expanding. And then they go back in like that. So first, you have to expand the lungs.
Mm.
And this expansion is not just in the front. Again, your rib cage goes all the way around your back because your lungs expand that much. So you have to think of expanding the back muscles as well as expanding the front. So you get a full capacity breath. This is an active breath. Again, if you look at swimmers before they go and do the Olympic deep diving swimming, you'll see them go, and it's a full body breath. I always like to say, like, if you have a balloon, right? Let's say it's a balloon. You have a water hose, and you put the balloon on the water hose. If water is going in, it's going to go down and open like that. That's what our lungs do. When the air comes into our body, our lungs, if the air comes in, down and opens our lungs and our rib cage. Now, you hear people talk about diaphragmatic breathing or breathe from the diaphragm or breathe from the stomach. And, they say, like, you have to breathe from here. Ah! What does that mean? So, your diaphragm is, if you want to think of it, as kind of like a pancake. If somebody were to slice you in half, swoop, they could kind of pick up your diaphragm, be like, oh, look at there. It's like that. Well, the diaphragm sits right underneath your lungs in sort of a curved shape like this, right? And what it does is it protects your lungs and divides your lungs from the rest of your important inner, uh, uh, not muscles, but your organs. So your diaphragm basically sits like this, and your lungs are on top. And underneath, you have like your liver, your kidneys, and all of that stuff. When your lungs expand, the diaphragm does this. It just flattens out. What this does is it pushes all of your internal organs down, which allows for the lungs to expand, which is why you might see or feel that the stomach sort of goes out when you take a breath in. It's not that you're all of a sudden you've gained 20 pounds when you take a breath, even though I feel that that's what happens to me. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. But what happens is it's just the lowering and moving of the inner organs to allow for the lungs to expand. Case in point, so here would be my diaphragm in sort of a hook shape, sort of like a bean, upside down bean, if you will. And when I breathe in, see my stomach expanding? That's just those inner organs moving out the way. So why is the diaphragm important? Why do people talk about diaphragmatic breathing? Because the diaphragm helps to keep the lungs out and open. As long as the diaphragm is low, the lungs can stay out and open. When the diaphragm starts to go back up, the lungs start to shrink back down. Now, we can't actually control our diaphragm. It's just one of those involuntary things. You breathe in, the diaphragm moves down. You breathe out, the diaphragm goes back up. But what we can notice is the rate in which the diaphragm goes back up. If we take a breath in and then go to sing, our diaphragm goes, and we lose all of our air. So what we can do is when we take a breath in, we can slowly let the air back out. Slowing down the rate that the diaphragm comes back up. This increases our lung capacity. This increases our lung support, our breath support. And ultimately, it increases the amount of power we have to sing with the voice. You can't sing very big and powerfully if you don't take a big active breath. You can't sing very big and powerfully if you take a breath in, the diaphragm goes down, and then 2 seconds later, the diaphragm pops back up like a trampoline. So we take the breath in, our lungs expand, the diaphragm drops, and then we slowly let those lungs come back down. What's amazing is you can actually train the diaphragm and the lungs to slow down. If you look at the swimmers that do long, the people that swim like 5 minutes across the water or so, if you're breathing in for 5 minutes, you're going to be absolutely exhausted. So you'll see that swimmers will take a big breath, which then slows down the rate that the lungs come back in. So one of the things that we do as singers to help train that diaphragmatic breathing, the slowing down of the lungs coming back to its natural size, is what I was just doing. Say you make an S sound. You can do this also while you're sitting there. And we're going to say we're going to go for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to breathe in and we're just going to hiss out on 4 counts and see how that goes. So I'll do it and you can do it with me. So 1, 2, ready, go. Great, simple enough. It's about the same amount of air that we use to speak. So now let's see if we can double it and go to 8.
Sorry, can you
Yep.
hear me?
Yep.
Would you like me to bring someone on stage so you could do the exercise with for the others?
Oh, 1 second. I'm going
Do you-
to demonstrate it first, and then we can
Okay,
have somebody join. We'll let
okay,
them get a practice round first.
okay. That's fine.
So this is if you try 1, 2. We go for 8. So 1, 2, 3. A little harder, right? Then, okay, let's say I really want to get my lungs to stay open. So let's go for 10. Last practice round, and then you can bring somebody in. So let's practice together if we go for 10. One,
Okay.
2, ready. So just doing that much will help us learn how to control the breath so we don't go. All right. Now, if somebody wants to try, I say go for it. Come on in.
Okay. Um, just a minute. I'm gonna get these.
You pick. I'm an open book.
All right. So should be there. So we're gonna bring Best Grace on the Grace. She's gonna come on stage on the screen any moment from now.
Great.
So I just shared the invitation link. She's gonna come on stage.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, I think I have a little bit of network ish. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Grace. Well, waiting for Grace. A bit of a network, but I think we can proceed. I think we were talking about step for singing, and we're
yep.
in respiration, diaphragmatic breathing.
Right. So passive breathing versus active breathing. Again, our active breathing, nice, big. It's like every time, every single time. Oh my goodness. Literally, this happens every time. I go to explain this. You take a breath in like you're yawning. And when I go to say, take a breath in like you're yawning, my brain actually tells itself to yawn because it's crazy like that. But you have to take a nice, open, relaxed breath like you're yawning. Happen again. Told you. But what are we doing? So, one, we're expanding our lungs, lowering that diaphragm, and then we keep that nice open space so we can slow down the rate that our lungs are coming back. So we stopped at 10. Let's try let's try 10 again. And then we'll
Okay.
see how that translates into singing. So 1, 2, 3 on S. So let's say we pick a neutral pitch. Pick one of those. Doesn't matter wherever you are. This is F. So we're just going to do. So say we're holding out do for 4 notes with our regular passive breath. 1, 2, ready, and do. Not so bad. Simple. Let's say we try to go to 6 with the passive breath without fully expanding. 2, 3, 4. So you start to run out. What happens if we try to go to 8 without taking a fully expanded breath? 3, 4. You run out of breath and the pitch starts to suffer. So now, let's see what happens when we take a full expanded breath and hold this pitch. So go to 8. I'm going to jump a few steps because you get the point. So this is if we take a full breath. 1, 2, ready. See, you have a lot of extra breath now because you're taking a more active breath. You're taking a breath that lowers the diaphragm, which then you have more lung capacity. Because you've lowered the diaphragm, because your lungs are expanded more, you have more breath to sing with. Make sense?
Yeah, making sense. Lots of
Just
sense.
to review, the first step was posture, right? Making sure we have our hips aligned and string and all of that stuff. Second step is respiration, breathing, making sure the lungs fully expand into your back, pushing your diaphragm down and not going whoosh, but really slow, sustained breath. That's our next step. After we get posture and respiration, did we get Grace? Does she ever come in?
I think she's having a bit of a network issue.
Well, we'll catch her at some point. I'm sure she's an A student.
Of course.
I'm silly, don't mind me. But after posture and respiration, then we have what they call phonation, which is just making sound. It's the same root as phonics, which is you use for words, or phone, like to telephone someone, even though kids do this nowadays because they don't have these phones anymore. But to phonate, to make sound. That's the next part. So, what do? We go back to our nice yawn breath. Now, what are we doing when we yawn? So this little thing in our throat, which is far more visible for men than it is for females, because we have what they call an Adam's apple. It protects, it's our trachea. Inside of that are our vocal folds. So this thing, the trachea, has a larynx inside of it. And inside of the larynx is your voice box, your vocal folds, and all of that. Now, people will sometimes say, well, if your vocal folds do this, open and close, how come when we're drinking something, we don't just have water go right onto our vocal folds? Because God was smarter than we are, and we're so grateful for it. There's a thing called an epiglottis. So your glottis on the other side of your vocal folds is the thing that keeps it open and closed. An epiglottis does this. And then it goes down your esophagus, out down the back. So there are two tubes. The esophagus and like the larynx and the vocal tract. So whenever you swallow anything, you can feel it. It closes like a lid, and then all the fluid goes down the back. When you go to breathe or sing, the epiglottis is open. Hi, hello, 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 hello. You can phonate. If you try to swallow and make sound at the same time, try it. You realize you can't really swallow and make sound at the same time because the epiglottis has put a lid on top of the vocal folds. So there you go. You learn a little science. But it's true. I mean, I didn't make that up. You can feel it for yourself.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right. That's right.
so then our larynx has to be nice and relaxed, just like we're yawning. You'll feel that it just sort of drops gently, and you can actually massage the sides of your neck to kind of help it chill out. Just calm down, calm. Just like that. Again. Every time my body says, oh, you have to yawn for real. Alas. So, what are we doing? We're opening the back of our throat and lowering our larynx at the same time when we breathe in that way. Why is that important? In order to make sound, the air has to have some space to go. If there's no space in the back of the throat, if it's clamped down and closed, you can't make any sound. If I just drop my jaw, but don't open the back of my throat, it's still going to sound tight and constricted. The moment I yawn or think of that yawn breath, opening the back of the throat and lowering the larynx, you can see there's this much space versus uh,
Mm.
this is
I
when they
think we
say
have.
it sounds compressed. It
Mm.
sounds tight. It sounds squeezed.
I think we
Go
have
for it.
Sunday Grace here now. I'm gonna add
Yeah.
her up on screen. Um, okay, so she should be uh, up now with you.
Hi, Grace. Welcome to the show.
Okay, Grace, I don't know if you are there and if you can hear me. If you cannot hear me, indicate try to fix your mic. The mic setting is bad. Okay, please let's continue. It's a little bit of a mic problem. She can't hear the thing there.
That's okay.
All right, so I'm gonna try to
Before
share
we
the
before we do
mic a
that, are
little bit.
there any thoughts, questions, concerns, confusion right now before we tack on more information?
Okay, please over to you, viewers. Okay,
Hello.
Sunday Grace is here. Okay, we're gonna try to unmute her. Uh, Sunday, I think you're muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Oh, hi. Good
Uh,
evening. Sorry.
There
Good,
you
good.
are.
So,
Grace, do you have a question?
no, not yet.
So she was
Great.
supposed to. So she was
Oh, I
supposed to
know.
do the
So, do you
demonstration.
remember our little breathing exercise to help our lungs?
Yeah, I
All
do.
right. I'll let you give yourself a count off, and let's see if you can go to 8 with just using an S sound.
Okay.
I don't know if you're doing it or not. I can't hear it. Grace, did you do it?
Yeah,
Oh,
of
I
course I
couldn't hear
did.
you. That's why I
Wait,
couldn't tell if you did it or not.
oh, so sorry about that.
It's okay.
Okay, let me try it.
Yeah.
Try it again. I'm trying it again.
Okay.
So I'm breathing in.
What's happening to the screen?
There you go. I heard it.
Okay.
Could you feel the
Okay,
expansion when you did it that way? It's like your
yeah,
whole body just like,
exactly, exactly.
that's awesome. And that's what I tell people all the time when they say, don't you get tired when you're singing? It's not that my voice starts to get tired necessarily. Your body gets tired because it takes a lot of energy and work to really expand and then keep that expansion so you can control the sound coming back down. Do you want to try it on a pitch?
Okay,
You
so
can
good
pick a
one.
pitch. It doesn't matter whichever note you want to do, whatever's comfortable for you.
Okay, here we go.
Well, it looked great. It's strange when you go to make a singing sound. I couldn't hear a thing, but I saw that the body was in good alignment from head to hip, and I saw that your shoulders were relaxed and your rib cage really open and expanded, and I could see that you had an open mouth, open throat. That's fantastic.
Yes,
That's exactly what
thank
we
you.
want.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Is that clear? Do
Thank
you have
you.
any
Yeah,
questions for
actually,
me?
further, I just have few questions, but I think you've not gotten there. You've not arrived there yet. So I'm just waiting.
Say that again.
I
Okay,
have few
she's got.
questions, but I think you've not arrived there yet. So I'll just have to be patient until you're done.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. So we started with posture, uh, respiration, breathing, and then we just moved on to phonation. How do we make sound? So you feel that in your belly, once you take that big breath, then you have to use that breath. So you have the open space and you have the breath. Now you have to, it almost really lean onto the body. Ah, eh, oh, that sort of that sensation. So it feels like you're just leaning. You're not pushing. It's not rigid. It's just sort of a nice, comfortable lean. The Italians call the word appoggiare, which means to lean. The appoggiare, or what you will hear people say is you have to have a proper appoggio. But what does that mean? If you were to, let's see, what's a good way to describe this? When you take your hand, make a fist, and put it between your belly button and right where your belt would be, and breathe in, you feel a sort of natural expansion. When you start to sing, you should feel that sort of lean in, that sort of It's not a push, but it's also not that your belly button stays out and it's like rock hard. So it's like, ah, eh, eh. That's what the Italians call the appoggiare, the leaning of the voice. Now, a way you can just really figure out how to do that, pretend like you have a candle and it's somebody's birthday and they say, make a wish. So I'll take my pencil here. When you blow out a candle quickly, do you go and spit all over the cake? No, you go. So pretend like you're blowing out a candle. Put your hand back between your belly button and right where your belt buckle would be, and feel what happens to the body. You'll feel a slight contraction, a little lean and appoggiare that happens naturally. That's what our body naturally wants to do when we are respirating properly. Now, how does this work in terms of singing, in terms of making phonation? So we take our big open breath, we put our fist between our belly button and right between where our belt would be, and we go. But now pretend like I'm going, here's a pitch. Ah, 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 where I'm moving the sound with this buoyancy that I feel between my belly button and my belt buckle, as opposed to ah, 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 doing it with my throat and my stomach is very rigid. Ah, ah. Instead, it's buoyant, it's bouncy. Ah, 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 ah. Now, that's the first part of it. How do we sustain that? So it's going to be the same thing. Posture, take a big breath, lungs expand, nice open throat. Then when we breathe, we're going to feel that buoyancy. Ah, ah, ah. And this time we're just going to sustain that sensation. Ah, ah. So if I were to say, we'll go here to my belly. Well, my piano's in the way. Ah, ah. Then you just do that a little quicker. Ah, ah, eh, e, ah, ah. That's how we start to have a more full sound. To make a more powerful sound, you have to use your body more as opposed to letting it be locked and tight. And because now we're in proper alignment, ears over shoulders, and we have open mouth, and our larynx is not jacked up like that. Oh, oh, ah, 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 ah. There's nothing in the way. So all we're getting is just vocal.
Wow.
Good, solid sound. Did I confuse anybody so far?
It's a bit I think it's a bit heated now at the moment, but that was a
Anyone?
very
No
good
one?
one.
Yeah.
But I think no one is
Otherwise, I'll just keep
confused. If
talking to myself.
please, if anybody is confused, please use
So, the things that help to
I don't
make the sound
hear me.
more free. Oh, there you are. And
Yeah,
make sure I
I'm
hadn't
here.
lost anybody yet.
that I don't know anyone is confused, but
Oh, you're
though we have
muted
a little
still.
bit of I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear
I
me?
can't hear you.
Uh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you
I
see
see
me?
you.
But you can hear me.
I do not hear you.
What's happening? What about now? Can you hear me?
Nope.
Uh, but I can hear you loud and clear.
Now, I don't know what happened to you. Well,
Let me
I can
check.
also just keep talking to myself. But
But can
yeah, I don't know why
viewers,
I can't
can
hear
you
you. I was
hear
here. I
me
was able to
the
hear you
following?
earlier. I didn't know if there were
Okay.
any questions or comments. I can't see them. So
All right. So I'm gonna bring the questions. I'm gonna bring the comment up now. Can you hear me?
I see you. I can't hear you.
Okay, okay. Just let me
Hmm.
see what's happening.
Well,
What's happening?
I'll
It's not
press on
my
for now until we can figure out the audio situation. So
okay.
we have certain things that help make up our space: our tongue, our back of our throat, which is called the
And two.
pharynx, and then our larynx, right here. The other thing is our soft palate. So, what are
That
those
is
things
right.
and how we get there? The tongue we can easily see. I we know what our tongue is. We know where our tongue is. When singing, our tongue, I don't know, yeah, I don't know why I can't hear you. But ideally, we'd like to keep our tongue at oh, okay, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's strange. They can hear the both
Okay,
of
but
us. I just can't hear you.
yeah. But can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Nothing.
Nothing
The
still.
well, anyway, I'll talk about the things in your mouth. Your tongue should ideally stay behind the bottom teeth, like this. All right. Sometimes we singers get in trouble because the tongue starts to pull back. Uh. Now, while it can help make a more robust round sound, what are we doing? We're starting to pull on the throat because the tongue is connected to the top of the larynx. So if we're pulling the tongue, we're also hiking our larynx at the same time. Oh, creating that sound. And people say sometimes it sounds constricted or it sounds tight.
Mm.
Ah! So one of the things we can help with is keeping that tongue behind the bottom teeth and free. Ah! So we're not going ah, pulling on the tongue, right?
Wow.
There
Great,
you
great,
go. Now I
great.
can hear you.
All right. Okay, so we're just gonna have few questions because it's supposed to be a question, a Q&A session now. While you were speaking, we have a question from Hyacinth. I don't know if if you can see the question from the other end.
I can't, but
Can
I
you
you can read them.
okay, okay. Let me bring it up screen to you. So so Hyacinth got a question about truth tension.
The opening of the throat and lowering the larynx. Something more practical. Great. You jumped me. I was just getting to it. So what we do, that's the first part is the tongue, right? We got to get the tongue under control to where the tongue stays flat. If you feel in your mouth, right above there, it gets real hard, that's what they call your hard palate. If you keep going back, it gets real fleshy. The scientific term is your velum, but we call it your soft palate. So you have your hard palate and you have your soft palate. Your soft palate is like an umbrella. It can open and do like this. So, like a jellyfish, or every way you want to describe it, it does this. So, if your soft palate is low, you're not going to have enough space for an open throat. How do you raise your soft palate? Pretend like somebody came in and said something really shocking. Naturally, our body raises the soft palate. What does that do? Is it moves all the stuff out of the way in the back of the throat, creating more space. If you have more space, you can make more sound and you can do it more easily. So tongue down, relaxed. Breathing in like you're yawning, like you're surprised.
Or like tongue
And then
placement.
staying in that space. Ah, it's very open. It feels like a cave. It's very cavernous. That's one way of keeping the back of the throat open. Then making sure that we're not grabbing or pulling, but doing this or that. Or again, when we pull our tongue back, we start to pull on the larynx, which closes down the space. You know? So, ears over shoulders, like this. Nice open breath, like you're yawning. Well, we raise the soft palate and keep the larynx in a natural low position. The tongue stays in place. And then we use that breath to send air through that open space without anything grabbing, without anything constricting. There's nothing in the way, just open throat and air going through. Ah, ah. Another way to describe that thought or that sensation is if somebody was down the street and you were trying to get their attention, you wouldn't say, hey, hey. You go, hey, hey, right? It's the
Wow.
same thing
Wow.
we do for singing. It's the calling voice. It's the
Yeah.
most natural, primal sound that we do. Hey, 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 hey. You don't go, hi, hey, please stop stealing my things. No, that's not how that works. So we do these things naturally. And then when we start singing, we start doing singer stuff that doesn't make sense. I hope that somewhat answers your question. Please keep sending more questions.
All right. So, can you hear me?
Yep.
Good. So I want to start bringing the questions on because we have a couple of them. So I wanted to confirm with you if it's a bit roundup for your end, so we could dive into the questions for real.
Well, the last part I was going to say is resonating. And then I'll be done. It won't take long.
Okay. So let's have the speaker, and after that, would have the questions
Give
coming.
me like 2 minutes maximum.
All right. Let's
So
go.
we're already posture, respiration, breathing, phonation, open throat. Then the next part of it is what we call resonance. What does that mean? Basically, sound is created when the air is bouncing off of something. If air is bouncing off of flesh, it's going to make a less buzzy, less resonant, less loud sound. Why? Because we need the density of bone to make a larger, deeper sound. Case in point, simple science. Say this is the breath, right? Here's my hand. When the breath is hitting a surface, it makes a sound. Now, because my hand is not very dense, it's not very deep, it's not very compressed, the sound is a little lighter, a little leaner, right? Just what happens. Now, I'm sitting at my piano. If I were to make the sound and pretend this is the sound, the air is hitting the piano, which is very big. you hear a deeper, darker, more full sound. Then how does this work in our singing? If our singing is just in the mouth, oh, oh, we're not going to get a very bright, buzzy, beautiful, big sound. So here, these are cheeks, lips, this is flesh. All right. Jaw is not a whole lot of bone. Here in our cheekbones, you'll feel, okay, there's bone here. There's bone here. Your entire head is made of bone. If I'm using my air to only sing towards my mouth, you will make sound. It's not the same as now my soft palate is high, and I'm thinking that the sound is going to go all the way up here. When that sound is bouncing off a bone, it creates this buzzy, rattling sound that they call resonance. So you can have a relaxed posture, open throat, but if it only goes to the mouth, you can make sound. But if you think of my palate is going to be really high, my soft palate, and my larynx is going to be really low, so the sound is going here instead of my palate's here, so it's just going to go to flesh. Again, you can feel your soft palate. Another way, if you want to find out where your soft palate is and the difference, don't touch anything in your mouth. But you can take your thumb and just put it in your mouth. Naturally, you'll make your soft palate go up. As opposed to if the soft palate is down, you'll feel like you're choking yourself. My tongue stays flat. For all of the vowels. A, E, O, U. So that's the resonance part of it. The resonance part happens when the breath and all of that stuff is lined up first. You can't all of a sudden start singing and think, I'm going to be resonant, and your larynx is tight and you're doing all this type of stuff. It ain't going to happen. The other stuff has to be in alignment first, which is why I mentioned resonance last. Now you can get to your questions.
That's great. I mean that the tongue thing is also a problem. The tongue thing is also a problem for me. But I think I'm understanding better now with your
Mm-hmm.
explanation. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I love I love the tongue thing because I think for some persons it's biological because of the way the tongue is. Some like for me, I don't really have a large tongue, so most
Mm-hmm.
of the times I don't know how to place to let the tongue sit beneath my teeth. It always comes this way. It always end up being this way. So
Uh-huh.
it always end up being that way, and most of the times I notice whenever it comes like that, I struggle with my sound and resonance. But
Yeah.
I think with the thumb thing, it's very practical. I mean,
Yeah, and you just keep that tongue
it's
down the whole
automatically,
time.
yeah. So I think it's practical. I think it's practical for me. So
Also, if you do the
yeah,
thumb thing and your tongue is going back, one, you'll start touching your thumb and like licking your thumb, which is kind of nasty.
yeah.
But also, you can feel, I can't even do it the wrong way.
Mm.
It's the same. Like when you go to the doctor, they put the little thing on your tongue. If your tongue goes, you'll feel like you're choking yourself.
Mm.
Ah. Another thing you can do to help your tongue relax is just like you would stretch before lifting weights, stretch before running. You can stretch your tongue. Say what? So If you just take your tongue and like roll it around your teeth like that, but with your mouth closed. Mm-hmm. Do
Mm,
that for about 30 seconds. Then I take my tongue, the tip of my tongue is at the bottom of my teeth. I flex it up and down.
mm.
And from side to side. So now, one, your tongue will get tired and it will want to stay down, but also it's more stretched out, so it doesn't feel the need to start pulling back on you. I do it before
Wow,
singing all the time, like
that's great.
sitting in church, sitting in the car, backstage. I do it on stage. If I'm upstage away from the audience, I'm like, like they don't know, they can't see.
All right, all right. Okay, so
All right,
I'm
now
gonna
we have
bring,
our questions.
yeah, I'm gonna bring the question, and we have a very nice question here from um I'm going to start from the very top. Please, guys, just like I informed earlier, please try to keep the comments straight to the point, and if you don't know how to place your question, DM me through the WhatsApp chat, and I will bring you on stage to ask the question to the speaker physically or virtually. But in the meantime, try not to repeat a question someone already asked. All right, so we go to it's a lot of them. I just want to make sure I don't miss anyone. Okay, so we go to the first.
That means I'm unclear.
No,
Oh no.
I just did no, not really. I just did it, and I always want to say I just did it and it worked. I'm enjoying this. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, I'm enjoying this. Thank you. I'm enjoying this. Yes, people like me haven't sang into. I just did it. It worked. Good, good, good.
Oh, good.
Please, how do I how do I pitch those high notes without losing? Good. I'm going to bring this one up so you can see it on stage. Please, how do I pitch those high notes without losing texture?
As in texture of the voice, the color, the texture, or
So I
like
guess, yeah,
text itself.
I guess it's the color of the voice. That's what this person is trying to say. This Joanna Wodola.
Well,
John. Okay, John Awodola. I'm sorry
thank
if
you,
I don't
thank
get the
you.
name correctly.
It's fine. It's fine.
Right.
Well, one of the things that we have to learn is what is our space? What is the most comfortable, natural space for making sound? Then, once we identify what our space is, then we can make the words and the vowels and all of that stuff fit inside the space. Now, what does that mean? If I did, for instance, this is my open throat, larynx down. That's the most easy open space sound for me. If I wanted to do the vowels, sometimes we do a, e, o. No. What is my space? Now, how can I make the vowels fit into that space? I, o. Right? So the same thing, if I were to go higher, so just from an F major scale, I'm not going to try to sing an ah in that top part of my voice to try to maintain whatever. I'm going to allow the voice to do what it wants to do naturally. And then whatever I have to do on top of that to make it sound like the words, I'm going to do that. So, case in point, if I were to try to do a real ah vowel, to maintain a certain texture or vowel or quality. You hear? Sounds terrible. You're screeching and cracking. My larynx is going up. If you see it from the side view, you see I'm doing a whole lot of stuff to try to make a sound happen. Versus if I stay in the space and whatever sound comes out is going to be that sound, okay? That becomes my texture. That becomes my bass line. And if I wanted to do behind the is still my space. E, I. So I didn't go E and close everything down to try to make an E vowel. The space is still open. The vowel is then changed by the tongue and the position in the front. E, and you still get a resonant sound. E, versus E. I can't even do it. I hope that somewhat answers the question. But in order to keep, for your high notes, in order to keep that open ringing position, you have to first become acquainted with what is my most natural, relaxed space. My larynx is down, my soft palate is high, the back of my throat is open like I'm breathing in a yawn or a cave. So that's another thing that you can do, is a nice sort of siren yawn. The one that keeps your tongue down. As opposed to or where I'm manipulating the space with the tongue. No.
Right, right, right. All right. So we have a
More
question.
questions?
I'm going to bring another. Yep. So we have John. I hope you've taken note of that. That's very, very good as elaborate elaboration of the question. So
Sorry.
here is a question from Music. Okay, I think that's a user nickname from Music Junkie. He said, "How can I increase my vocal range?"
How can you increase your vocal range?
Yeah,
Very
any
good
is that even
question.
possible? Okay.
Well, it's slightly possible. Some of it is you're kind of born with what you're born with, kind of the first part of it. Like if you're a bass, you can't make yourself a tenor. You know, it is what it is. You can increase your note possibilities within your own range, though. One of the ways you can do that is by sort of exercises that help to lengthen and stretch the vocal folds. So, one of the ways that we stop ourselves from reaching notes is constricting the voice. We tighten the voice, we squeeze the voice, we don't leave enough space. So, when we go to the top, it feels like we hit a ceiling. This is D major. If I do, I've not changed anything and it's just all tight. Just by creating more space as I go higher, opening the throat, breathing more, feeling like I'm really yawning. I call it the when you're in church and you don't want to get caught, so you're like that position. Just opening the throat more allows you more access to notes and sound. That's the first part of it.
Wow.
The other thing is you have certain exercises that help the elasticity to keep the voice very flexible. So something simple as like lip trills, or even just like that engages more of the heady falsetto part of the voice. The more you free up the larynx from being engaged and from grabbing, the more access you have to those top notes. Because then when you go up there, your body won't associate trying to make sound by squeezing. Instead, the body, because you've told it we don't need to squeeze to get there, then when you go there in full voice with full power, again, just like yelling on pitch, if you will. Hey, hi, open throat, relaxed. The moment you start to squeeze and constrict, you start to shut down your range on either side, actually. So that's just a sort of quick way of addressing that. What was the other question here?
Great. Great. So we
I would
have,
like to sing
okay, I
lower and
think we've
higher
done the
notes.
same.
I also hit a lot of notes previous. What can I do? Go on.
We have Judith O'Day. Thank you so much for this. Is it healthy for singers to sing with he or
So
when
when you
he or
sing with a sore
she has
throat,
thought? Yeah.
so there are a couple of things that you have to first sort of diagnose, right? What is going on? Is it reflux? Are you feeling like, sort of scratchiness? Is it feeling inflamed? Like I know my vocal folds will be inflamed if I go to sing, and it feels like they can barely come together. They're sore, they're inflamed. So what am I going to do in that regard? I'm going to give them some remedy. Honey is very good for the voice. Apple is good because it has the same pH balance as your saliva. Warm tea, anything that's sort of warm and soothing, soup, those things will kind of help bring the inflammation back down. Honey is very good for that. So if it's just you have a sore throat because the throat is inflamed, that's a different thing. You might just need some hydration if the vocal folds feel kind of crackly. You might just need to steam a little bit to sort of lubricate them to give them a little moisture so they regain their flexibility and elasticity. Fine. If you're feeling like, I can't talk, uh, uh, then you might have some sort of bacteria or virus. Go to a doctor, they'll give you some medication to help clear up, post nasal drip. There are a lot of different things that could be the culprit. You can sing with a sore throat. It depends on the severity of it. If you're a little like, sometimes I do way too much and I'll go from one gig to the next and I'm a little tired. There's a little inflammation, but I don't have to sing anything really high. I don't have to sing anything very difficult. And let's be honest, sometimes I just need that check. Hello, I need the money. So I'm like, I can push through and then take 2 or 3 days off. Maybe not advised, but sometimes bills have to be paid. Ideally, if you're feeling any sort of soreness, raspiness, hoarseness, the first thing to do is to stop phonating, stop singing, stop making sound. Allow the voice to rest. Remember, that was the last step in our healthy things of just taking care of the voice. Spicy foods, making sure you're getting hydrated. Rest is a big part of it. Sometimes it just needs a little time to rest and chill out. Give it a little honey, sip some tea, and just let it chill. So if you have the luxury to not sing when you're like if it's a rehearsal and it's not a performance or so, just tell the director, hey, I'm a little tired today. I need to really rest the voice, but I can be here to mark my music. I can be here to do the staging. I can still learn music. I can still translate the words. I can still write in the rhythms to make sure the rhythms are correct. Things that you can still do to work on music without actually using your voice. Still do that. But yeah, I mean, ideally, you should not sing when you have a sore throat. Of course, the severity, if you feel like, hi, my name's Reggie Smith, go to a doctor. Do not sing because it can only make it worse. You don't want to
All right.
strain the vocal folds to where something else happens that, will require more medical attention. So, yeah.
All right. So we have okay, Hyacinth is thanking you. Thank you. I'm sincerely grateful. Hyacinth for the open throat. Thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
thank
So
you.
we have Best Gracie, the tongue placement. Does that also include difference? Like it's a say, what's the tongue connection to an open singing? I really don't know how to put this question, but I pray it's understood.
Does it also include diphthongs like I, E, I? Yeah, it does. Because even if you're singing like a French vowel or a German vowel, on, ton, bon ton, whatever, there still has to be a root vowel. If I'm doing U, it's E and U put together. E. The root of it is still going to be E. So if my E is still tight, E, my umlauted vowel is going to be tight. E, E, like über, right? So the same thing happens if we're singing diphthongs. We don't sing both of them at the same time. Boy, toy, and if you're in some parts of the United States, they say kayet, but that's a different story. But you wouldn't say boy. No, the root of it is going to be boy, toy,
Mm.
joy, instead of joy, right? So no matter if it's a diphthong vowel or if the vowel changes, the tongue has to stay relaxed and the same. The throat has to stay open, and the placement stays open like this. Which is why we do all these exercises like I, so we get in the habit I, as opposed to I, chewing. I hope that kind of answers. What's the tongue connection to an open singing? I really don't know. Okay, so yeah, the tongue has to be out of the way, relaxed, out of the way. Just like you're making sound going through a huge tunnel. There's nothing in the way. The tongue's not in the way. The throat is open. Boy, toy, cow, mow, bow. They're all the same. Choice, no matter what it is. The vowel has to stay open. The throat has to stay open. And most importantly, we have to understand that there's a one vowel that's more important than the other. If I said boy, it does not sound like I'm saying boy. You see? So even though it's an oi diphthong, oi, 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 it's all open. It's all unrestricted. I hope
Right,
that's clear.
right, right. I hope that's clear, Grace. If not, you have one chance to come on stage. So we're just going to have quickly because of time. We're going to have some Carmi. So is resonance same thing as use and head voice?
Aha, very good question. So your head voice is more like your falsetto, right? So people would say that the falsetto is the unsupported, floaty, light part of the voice. Then, if you add some breath behind it, just like we were doing with our posture, and a little support where you feel the appoggiare, that sound has more texture, it has more gatheredness, it has a rounder, deeper, fuller sound. That's what we would call our head voice, as opposed to just the falsetto. Can sometimes sound weak and airy. So the head voice is more resonant than the falsetto voice, but the head voice alone is not resonance by itself. The head voice can be used to help make a more full sound. But the resonance still comes from the air vibrating and bouncing off of a hard surface. If the air is just spinning like all around us, we do not hear the air. If the air starts hitting something, we start to hear it because of the vibrations, because of sound waves. Same thing happens in our body. If the air is just coming out of our throat, nothing's happening. When we start to have vocal fold closure and that air is hitting a surface, you're going to create sound. That sound is a resonant sound. The sound that gets more overtones, gets more loudness, gets more fullness is the sound that's going to have the air bouncing off of a harder surface, a surface that has more density, like bones here in our cheeks, around our eyes, here in our forehead, the top of our head. Hey. So again, the falsetto, the sound is not bouncing off of anything. It doesn't have a concentrated focus. We focus it with the breath and give it more place here. And then you have more resonance. But the two are not the same thing. The head voice can be resonant.
That's great. So I have a question here from Sil. Very funny question. I laughed when I saw it. Maybe you should say it yourself.
Thank
He's
you.
asking about alcohol.
The question is, does intake of alcohol affect the quality of the voice over time? I mean, so the thing about alcohol is alcohol can dry you out. So it's the same way I would say about like spicy foods. Like spicy foods over time can cause more acid reflux. Same thing. Alcohol can cause more acid reflux. It can cause you to become more dry more quickly. If you want to drink, have a drink after you sing. Maybe not like the day or two before. So you make sure everything's really flexible and really lubricated and good to go. After you get done with the performance, if you want to throw some back, have at it. Over time, hey, talk to your doctor about what it does to your liver. That's different from what it does to your voice.
All right. So we're gonna have okay, this one Stanley's thanking you for the tongue thing. The tongue thing is really important for all of us. Me too. All right, so we're gonna have Mary Pores. She's asking how do I'm gonna bring it on stage. How do you train the voice better so it doesn't get tired easily? And how do I maintain my breath while singing high notes or high pitched songs?
Very good. So, one of the things that helps you not get tired so easily is not grinding down. So, we talked about this in our um, vocal health part. If I'm pressing down on the voice, the same way if I were talking, and if I were talking, trying to really make my voice lower like that, it gets really tiring. Ah, uh, Same if I have too much vocal fry, and the voice is going to get real exhausting. The best way that your voice stays healthy and maintains its freshness and fluidity and flexibility, it almost feels like you're just kind of floating along. It's not a lot of pressure. It's not very heavy. Hi, hello, just kind of like that, almost like somebody gives you a shot in your gums when you go to the dentist, and you're like blah 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 blah. The moment you start adding all of this extra pressure and weight to the voice, ah, uh, 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 it's just weighing down, pushing on the vocal folds, and it just starts. You start feeling like my throat is getting tired. That's a prime indicator for you to say, "Ooh, I need to take my foot off the gas pedal. I need to lighten up. I need to not press on the voice so much to where I'm driving it. Just let it stay supple." You do that with the breath. Allow the breath to move the voice as opposed to you trying to move the voice with your throat. That's why we started with identifying the breath, identifying that place like blowing out a candle that's right below your belly button and right above your belt. And so you start to use that to move the voice. Ah, eh, oh, as opposed to uh, 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 where you're making the throat tired. That's the same thing that will help you sustain those high notes. It's the same exercise. You use that same slowing down of the lungs coming back up and of the diaphragm climbing back up on the high notes. Ah, as opposed to ah, ah, collapsing. Ah, It'll allow you more flexibility in your singing. It'll allow you to sustain longer notes, especially as you're higher. And keeping that flexibility from the breathing will keep you from grabbing at the throat, which will keep you from tiring out easily.
All right. Thank you so much.
Hope that
Someone
helps.
said, someone said, "Oh, I hope I can rewatch this. Today's lecture is really interesting." All right. So I'm gonna bring Abigail on stage. She wants to ask the question personally.
Great.
So I'm gonna add her up here now. Okay, I think she's up.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Hello, I can see you. I can't hear you yet.
Oh my goodness. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear? No?
Am I audible now?
You're on, I don't know if you're on mute or not.
I'm not on mute. Is it better?
Our host might have to help you with that.
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Reggie?
I can hear you. I just can't hear her.
I
I
think I
can
can
hear
hear
Matt.
her. Or
I can hear Matt, and
yeah,
I can hear.
I, I can hear you too audibly. So, Reggie, could you let me see. Let's see. Can you say something again, Abigail?
Can you hear me?
If you can hear her, you can just repeat the question.
Okay, okay. Just say the question to me. Say the question.
Okay.
Abigail, you're up. Yeah.
Okay. So my question is on the phonation aspect of today's topic, the phonation, which has to do with the um, sound projection. That's the open and close sound. Now, if you're projecting an open sound, it's quite easier because you're all open. Now, how do you project the close sound without dimming your voice? So your voice stays at
Okay.
the same tempo, the same frequency without dimming the sound for close sound.
I really wish you can hear this, Reggie. I don't know how to interpret this. Okay, but I think what Abigail is trying to say is she's asking on the opening and closure of sound, right? Abigail, if I'm correct, please.
Yeah.
So she is trying to say, how do you project sing on high note or high pitch without dimming your sound, right?
No,
Come again, please.
how do you when you're singing a close sound, for example, words like free, tree,
Hmm.
slim, music, how do you project these sounds, though they are close sounds, without dimming your voice?
Okay, she was asking, how do you project when you're singing with closed phrases like tree? How do you project this sound without dimming your voice? So I think what she's saying is the phrase, like weak phrases. How can you or how can one sing on weak phrases and still have the voice being projected? Let's say, for example, you want to sing a phrase with tree, right, Abigail?
Yes, yes.
Tree. Give me another example.
Yeah, I got you.
Free.
So it's
Free. Okay. Do you
interesting.
have a song? Do you have a song in mind? The song phrase something you've sung in that phrase before?
Well, I can give an example or two. I got you.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
Abigail. We'll sort this out together. Um, so for instance, in the opera Aida, Amonasro has su dunque sorgete dice corte, and it's su dunque sorgeti e ci si corti, che fa costruggete le nostre città, right? But it's an U vowel on C natural, and the orchestra is very loud. So if I try to sing a real pure U vowel, su du, it's very constricted, very tight. Even if I sing it where my larynx is down and my palate is up, su du, okay, I can make more sound because I'm maintaining an open space in the back of the throat, right? However, if I want to project over the orchestra, which is very big at this moment, sometimes I have to change the vowel slightly in order to make more space. Because if you don't have space, you're not going to make sound. So if I were to do it without making space, right? If I were to do it where I make space on the inside but not on the outside, okay, fine, we're getting more sound. Now I'm going to create the space on the inside and on the outside by going instead of sudun, sudon, sudon, and they will hear an U vowel. Sudon, que sorgeti, sudon. So the same thing if I had a word like tree, right? If I did tree with a closed E vowel, E, everything is compressed in the back. So I still have to breathe in like I'm singing an O, and then the E happens in the front of the mouth. So, for instance, there's Deep River, right? If I went deep river, deep, and say, it's not very pretty. We don't hear depth of sound. We don't hear the warmth of sound. So what do? I think I'm breathing in like I'm yawning in church and I don't want to get caught. My soft palate goes up, my larynx goes down. And because of it, now I'm able to make more sound. Why? Because I have more space in the back of my throat. My space has to be the same no matter what the vowel is. Even if it's a closed vowel, my space has to be the same. So that's what I say, become acquainted with your space. What is that? Then the vowels can be out here, but this has to maintain this openness. Deep river, my home is home. My home is home. Close. Over Jordan. It's the same thing if I did Sudun Quesojeti. Sudun. Sudun. Now I can make sound because I have more space to make sound. Does that help somewhat?
Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good. I still can't hear you, but I see head shaking. So
Thank you.
good.
Uh,
Awesome. Any other questions? What we got? And then I'm gonna have lunch. I know it's dinner time over there. It's like lunchtime in Texas. Where's our host here? Oh, also, how does one achieve singing pianissimo on high notes without tension or sounding throaty? Oh, that's a lesson for another time. But basically, again, maintaining this sort of buoyancy to where you're not grabbing and pushing. If it starts to get tight, you can only decrescendo so far.
Okay.
You should try that no matter where it is in the voice. It all has to stay open and relaxed. It's counterintuitive because when we get there, our body and our adrenaline goes, "Ugh," and we naturally want to shut down. And we have to get there and just allow it to stay open and relaxed. Then you can add breath to that sound if you want a crescendo, but you can't come back. If you go, it's just, it's too tight, it's too constricted. Also, engaging more of the head voice, not the falsetto, but will help with making the high notes softer and less tight. But again, that's a deeper lesson for another time. What else do you have?
Great. I think we're gonna call it a wrap here. A lot of questions, but it's where we'll be above our time. It's supposed to be 1 hour 30 minutes, and I just want to use this medium to thank you sincerely on behalf of everyone streaming. We had about 50, people started engaging in one or two things, and at the moment we have about 28 streamers currently on the live. I want to say thank you so much, Reggie Smith. As you all know, Reggie is an award. It's not. It's no small thing. He is
Oh,
an award-winning baritone, and if you follow, go check Reginald Smith Jr. online. You would see his work. He's fantastic, and getting him was hard knock, but he made sure to be available to inspire and have this session with us. Like I told us the last time with the first speaker, getting these people to speak for you or getting them to give you dish at information, it's serious business. You pay for these kind of things. You don't get it at the platter of gold. But here he's doing it wholesomely for us. And I just want to say thank you so much, Reginald, on behalf of everyone who's streaming. And please feel free, check out Reginald Smith Jr. Follow him. Try as much as you can to pick one or two things. Like today, I've learned something. Last week, I learned space in the voice. Very important. Always have a space, a room for space where you could be able to sing, so you could get that full rich tone. And today, I'm learning something that's been a problem to me as a singer, which is called tongue placement. It's always difficult for me to let the tongue fly and relax beneath the teeth. But this session today have taught me a lot of things, and I want to say thank you so much, Reggie. So I don't know if you have any last words for
I
the
mean, if
viewers before
anybody is
calling a wrap.
inviting me to Nigeria, I'd love to come. I'll come and
All
sing
right.
for fancy clothes and good food.
Yeah, yeah. That's gonna happen, and it's very soon, pretty much. It's
Oh,
gonna happen pretty much. Thank you
awesome.
so much, Reginald, and thank you also everyone for viewing and your patience. Next session is gonna be on Sunday, as you know. We're gonna communicate further details on the group, and we'll go call it. Without any further ado, we're going to call it a wrap. Thank you. Bye
Thanks.
bye now. Please don't forget to follow if you're streaming, follow, like this channel, follow the channel. Very important for all our streamers. Very important. And also you could check Reginald Smith Jr. on YouTube and make sure you follow his channel also. I mean, that's the way you're gonna pay back for this. At least that's the least you could do. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Reginald. God bless you. All right, guys, that's a wrap. See you on Sunday. Feel free to um, feel free to leave. Any other question, we'll bring it up on Sunday. It's a lot of question, and I think he really did his best to stretch for 2 hours. Mask. It is exactly 8 p.m. So thank you so much, and also for your time, your patience for streaming. Please don't forget, like, share this. Sorry, like and subscribe. Keep the share slim because we'll have to record this and send it to the group for people who couldn't stream in to be able to watch later. If you share the video and spam it, YouTube might take it down. So let's keep it concise to this space. God bless you all, and I will see you on Sunday. Bye bye now. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.